Hello, and welcome to Linking to the Afterlife. I'm Donna Boyle, medium and direct messenger for spirit. As a medium, I channel not only the voices of my clients' loved ones, but also their emotions and experiences in the afterlife. The link we create during our reading helps those in this physical life as well as those who have crossed over. As a direct messenger for spirit, everything I say comes from something I am feeling, sensing, seeing, hearing, smelling, and tasting. It is my job to interpret the images and sensations that appear in my physical and emotional body. I do that as a clear, conscious channel for spirit. Let's listen in now to the conversation with my guest and their loved one. You may find that some of the messages are meant for not only my guest, but for all of us. Okay, I'm going to ask us both to take a deep breath in and out. And would you state your first name and the phrase, "It's a beautiful day"?
Cameron, it's a beautiful day.
Thank you. And now would you state the name, the first name of your loved one you'd like to link up with?
Linda.
Linda, as I see, she wants to run over to me and give me this huge hug right now. I certainly feel that's the way she was in spirit also. Would that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And her hug, I talk about this in many readings, gives me goosebumps from the top of my head down through my toes. That always tells me that this soul is so close to both of us. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
She has this uncanny ability of listening, a conscious listening. Would you say that in her physical life, she was a very conscious listener?
Yeah, she would listen a lot. She was really good at hearing people.
Her eyes very expressive while she does this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Her eyes like your eyes. Would you say that's familiar for you? Her eyes are like your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. People say that I look like my mom a lot.
Yeah, I gather this is your mother.
Yeah.
She she was frail toward the end. Would that be correct?
Yes. Yeah, she was sick.
And thin, though. When I say frail, I mean thinner.
Yeah. Yeah, she was thin.
Thank you. I don't feel I can knock her over with a stick, but I feel that if she stood up and walked too fast, she's like, I gotta sit down. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there were actually multiple times where she stood up and then would fall over.
Hmm. So she's giving me confirmation of how she was before she crossed. I also feel a very accepting sense when she crossed into the non physical world. Just before, I feel she might have even said to those around her, I accept this. Does that make sense?
Yes, she wasn't conscious, but there was definitely more acceptance in her this time when she got sick.
Okay. I feel she was conscious during those moments of crossing, almost as if she was lifted out of her body before her heart stopped. She was lifted out of her body and she was able to experience what was going on. Do you understand?
Yeah. When I said conscious, I meant like she wasn't in the physical able to talk space for probably a week before she passed.
I understand that. Thank you. And I feel she was even hugging all of you during those last, I'll say few days. I won't say a week, but I'll say few days before her actual crossing. People around her might have felt her hugs, might have felt it with goosebumps or something. Do you know?
Yeah, I remember experiencing a lot of goosebumps throughout that time that she was passing.
I see you there. I'm not sure about your family. Do you have one other sister?
Yeah, I have a sister.
I don't know. I guess you guys, it seems like you were in and out a lot. But you know, at the moment of her actual crossing, maybe people either weren't there or they weren't really, weren't really looking or talking to her. It might have been a moment of, oh, like nobody's looking at her and she took that opportunity to go.
Yeah, we weren't there with her.
Got it. Thank you. And that's the idea. She took that opportunity. You understand that?
Yeah.
That happens often. I don't feel she's been in the non-physical world for more than 10 years. Would that be a yes or a no?
Yes.
Under 5?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Her father, your grandfather, he is also in the non-physical world, yes?
Yes.
He was there for her. He was there waiting for her. He said, I had to come last minute because I thought this was a time where maybe she would come out of it. She would come back. Were there other times when you thought she was going to cross, but she came back?
Yes. Yeah, there were a few times.
So he's saying, I thought this was one of those times, with a humor in his voice. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, this is it. This is it. This is really it. I got to get there. I got to get there. So he was watching the whole situation from higher. And then he just kind of came back down and went, oh, got to be there. Got to be there. And his arms to me embraced her prior to her crossing and just picked her up out of that physical body and took her into the afterlife. Do you understand?
Yeah.
He was a beautiful man. And although he might have crossed from old age, he really wasn't elderly. Would you agree to that?
I didn't actually know him when he passed. If it's her father, I didn't know him.
Do you know when he passed, though? Do you know what age?
I'm not sure how old he was, but I think he passed. Yeah, he passed from illness.
So he wasn't elderly. I mean, if you didn't meet him, then he should have been younger.
Mm.
Because I feel he has this ability to run, because he like ran from way up there to right beside her. And then I get that sense that he wasn't like that in the physical world. Like he had something going on where he couldn't run, and now he's like, I can run, I can run. I'm telling you that in case you meet anybody else that knows him also.
Yeah.
He's pulling her out of her physical body, and this is the point where I connect more with her as who she is now, and things that she'd like to say to you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
She's saying, I love your hair. I don't know if something's changed with your hair since she last saw you.
Yeah. I just dyed it purple. Or parts of it.
Oh, 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 that's beautiful. Because that's Donna's favorite color. But isn't that nice? She recognized that. Yay. Do you notice that it's been falling out a little bit more? Like, you've been brushing it and going, wow, what's this? I got a lot of hair coming out. No big deal. But have you said to yourself, what is all this hair I see all over the place?
At a start, maybe like a few months ago, not very recently, but
So that has happened.
yeah.
She mentions that. She's like showing me all this hair on my computer. And I'm like, what? Stop. Mention the hair, Donna. Do you have a recording of her that you listen to?
Sometimes. Yeah.
So you have something, yes.
Yeah.
She says, what a great thing to keep. I'm so glad we had that ability.
Mm.
But it's not just a recording of her. It's a message for you. It's a recording of her to you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. She says, of course, I always wish I had more time. Of course. Who wouldn't wish that when they have children and friends and a life? But she says, I want you to know I gave you so much for your own growth. I knew on some level of myself that I wouldn't have a long period of time with you. So I knew to give you everything that I gave you in the time allotted to me. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
She says, I didn't feel the push when I was there, but now in this afterlife, I definitely feel how I pushed myself and how that pushed you.
Mm.
Did you feel, Cameron, at times that you were pushed and that you might have pushed back a little bit to your mom?
Yeah, a lot.
So she acknowledges that. And again, she also acknowledges she didn't recognize it then, but she recognizes it now. And she's saying, you always came back, though. You always came back.
Mm.
Even though you got mad and you ran away, you always came back. Do you want to talk about that?
There's just so many moments that come up of yeah, my mom just trying to push me to do a certain thing or something that she thought that I should do, and then me rebelling and leaving and then coming back. um, or getting mad and going into my room and then isolating from her for a little while and then coming back.
Let's take a breath together. She says, I always knew you'd come back. I never had any doubts. Do you feel that you hold a little guilt for not being there at some times still?
Yeah, I think I hold a lot of guilt. There's like some moments when she was sick where I had put her on do not disturb on my phone. And I think that there's some guilt from having any sort of boundaries with her while she was sick.
That's what I felt, but please know, she would like you to release that. She says, as simply as you release all the other things in your life that no longer serve you. You understand?
Hmm.
She says, I see you doing a ceremony. That's what you do, isn't it?
I also just last Saturday, not this one, the one before, I did a grief ritual ceremony.
Mm. Along with the grief, now there'll be one for guilt. Not just feeling guilty, but the guilt that you hold. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah.
Feeling guilty feels to me surface. When she says the guilt that you hold, it's deeper. It might be something you'd have to dig a little deeper on. Get it?
Hmm.
She says, Donna, I don't have to worry about her. She's all about digging. And then she's all about washing her hands after, right? After you do it, after you do the ritual, the work, you're like, you know, eh, okay, my hands got a little dirty there from the digging, but okay, you're really good at that, she says. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, the image that just popped into my mind, which is a little bit, it's different than what you're talking about, but it's of me constantly as a child and then also now still getting really dirty, like physically going out in the mud and and then coming back and always making sure that I'm clean and that I don't make more of a mess than I need to. And I think that's really true for the work that I do in myself too, is that I'll dig all this stuff up and then I'll make sure that I feel clean and clear whenever I go back out into the world or into my life instead of just throwing it up everywhere.
That's beautiful. she says, once the hands are washed of something that you dug up, please know that unless it comes up again, you're done with it.
Mm.
If it comes up again, recognize that it came up again, and then acknowledge that it came up again, but say to yourself, I know I've done this work already. You feel you can do that.
Yeah.
And not, she's saying, not to attach as much as you did in the past to the emotion that comes up. Do you understand?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of that work in this new paradigm way of thought and awareness and consciousness, that the emotions still will rise up, but it is our job now, our work now, our lesson now, to not attach to that emotion.
Mm.
I feel that's been said for eons, right? Let the emotion come up, but don't attach to it. Well, first we had to deal with the emotion. It's not easy to let it come up and just push it away, but like, oh, wait, where are you going? I didn't deal with you yet. Your mom is really grateful as she acknowledges the work that you've always done. Do you understand?
Yeah.
She says, this love that you have for so many others comes across in the work that you do for yourself. That's interesting.
Mm.
She said to stop worrying about how old you are.
Mm.
Stop worrying that your age has anything whatsoever to do with who you are as a teacher.
Mm.
How does that feel?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Currently facilitating this training, and I'm the youngest, and it seems obvious to me that I'm the youngest, but I definitely hold myself in that instead of just accepting, like, I'm with these people and I'm in this space for a reason.
That's a beautiful message she just stated. I feel that'll be replayed over and over again.
Yeah.
In your head. You're still having some belly issues?
Yeah.
Yeah, she says that. She said breath, more belly breathing. The belly breathing is going to bring up the awareness that maybe it's not in my belly. Maybe it's somewhere else, and my belly is only processing this.
Yeah.
We all know that the head and the gut and the head are connected. So she said, as you breathe, obviously your mother was some sort of teacher also. She's like giving me all my, as you breathe. As you breathe, recognize the rise and fall of the belly. Recognize the rise and fall of your emotion.
Mm.
Recognize the rise and fall of the physical sensation as well as the emotional sensation. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Instead of attaching to there's something I need to do in the outside world to help with my inner world, she said, your breath is your inner world.
That's really helpful. That's something that I was thinking about and coming into this call.
I love that last statement. The breath is your inner world. Because, I'm saying when you breathe, you feel it going out and in and out and in, but you never really say, it's only in me.
Mm.
It started in me, it's going to end in me. It really doesn't matter what's out there. It matters what's in my breath.
Yeah.
Let's take a deep breath in and out with that one. Wow. Very powerful woman. She said, "You betcha, Donna. You betcha." What do butterflies have to do with your mom?
Well, share a little bit of context. When she was passing and not able to connect in the physical, I had asked her for signs of butterflies when she passed. And then the last time that we were on a call and you did a reading with me, you said that she was like, you're like, you haven't been seeing signs? And I was like, yeah, I had asked her for signs and I haven't been seeing signs. And you were like, yeah, she wants you to know that life is your sign or something like that. and, and I remember feeling, I was like frustrated. I was like, I just want a sign. I forget.
Oh. So, full disclosure to everybody listening, I do know Cameron. I do not know her mother, never knew her mother. So, what you're saying is you asked for butterflies when she crossed?
Yeah.
And now she's bringing them up. So, I guess I'd be on the lookout now, Cameron, that butterflies are coming. Thank you so much again, Cameron, for joining me.
Thank you, Donna.
You're so very welcome. Good luck. Cameron and I chatted a little bit more, and here's what came up. Cameron, let's talk a little bit about when your mom said, "I love your hair."
Mm. Yeah, what came up when you said that was all of these memories of when I was younger. I would constantly dye my hair crazy colors and make the bathroom a mess. And my mom would always be like, she would be really upset that I was making her bathroom a mess. And I would clean up. I would always clean up after myself. And then she would also be like, why are you dyeing your hair? Your hair is great naturally. And so hearing that in the reading, I think there was like this deeper sense of acceptance and understanding. That's something that I've found in connecting with my mom more on this non-physical plane, is just this deeper understanding or acceptance for the way that I am. It's just been really beautiful.
And she's telling you, "It's okay now. I love your hair, no matter what you do." That's beautiful. All right. And you also wanted to talk about the butterfly signs that your mom is going to be now sending you.
Yeah, I realized that there have been a few moments that have come up over the past few days where I've seen butterflies. And immediately when she first said that, I had this flash of, I was at an event last night and my friend had a butterfly, a gold butterfly painted on his chest. And I feel like that's how I get intuitive hits, as like visual flashes of things. So it's just interesting to see that come up.
And there you go. We all know that when signs are sent from our loved ones, they may not be literal. They could be a picture of a butterfly or a computer. Someone has it on their shirt. Love that. I love that a lot. Okay. And you also wanted to talk about hugs, how I said your mom, I just felt her hug.
Yeah, she always had the most beautiful hugs, but about maybe 6 months or so before she passed, I had this really strong intuitive hit to start hugging her every single morning. My mom and I had had a lot of conflict, and especially in the mornings, I felt like I wasn't available for her. And I would usually just get up, leave, ignore her, leave the house, and go and meditate. And that's what I needed to do to take care of myself. But this one morning, I decided to start hugging her every single morning before I left the house, and no words or anything, just a hug and then leaving. And I think that created more deep connection between us too.
Clearly, that's what she stated first.
Thanks, Donna.
After our call, I went out paddleboarding with a friend and I started to share with her about the session today. And as soon as I started to share, a butterfly came over and landed on her hat and stayed on her hat for a good, like, solid few minutes and just hung out with us. I thought it was really magical and just wanted to share.
To my guests this week, thank you for allowing me to connect with your loved one. And for all of you listening, thank you for your appearance in the oneness. In this space of love, we all expand in consciousness. If you're interested in a reading for the show or a private reading with me, see the show notes for more info. We appreciate your rating and review of this podcast. Thanks again. Until next time.